Augie. Hello and welcome back to Art Therapy with Jenn. Today I'm going to be doing a magazine collage page in my Ideas Art Journal. And the magazine images that I'm going to be using today, I actually pulled out of my stash while I was kind of going through it and making mental inventory earlier this month, just to see kind of what images that I have. I like to just open it up there sometimes and just see what in the world's in there, right? But while I was doing that, I picked these images out because I thought they might go together and make an interesting story. And I kept seeing all these images that had this wonderful, like, icy blue tones and these cool colors, and I thought that would be a good place to start. And I was a little rusty at this point because I haven't done a strict magazine collage like this in a few weeks. So I wanted to kind of start with kind of a color theme like that to give me help in getting in there and getting warm back up. And as you see here, this is one thing I've talked about before that I do when I'm having trouble kind of figuring out where to start a page or to give me a jump off point. I take one of the larger images, I rip it in half, and I put it on either side of the page. And then I build up from there. So it gives me a place to start off with. It gives me some textures and colors to kind of begin to see some things taking shape. And then at that point, it just kind of, creativity kind of accelerates and you can just build up off those same images. And also, if you don't end up liking them, you can always glue on top of them. That's the beauty of art journaling. You can glue stuff over it or paint over it. No harm, no foul, right? But I'm just kind of building up off there. And another thing I've started doing much more that I found worked very well for me, you can kind of see it around the edges of my journal there. I took the images that I had and I placed them all around my desk, as much as I could with the room I had. And that way I can just kind of visually look around and my mind's like, ooh, that one. And so I would grab them. I didn't have to thumb through a big pile of images. They were all there waiting for me. And it just made the process go so much quicker. And it was just so much, I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot. So I wanted to share that with y'all. That worked out very well for me. And before that, I actually went the whole pages and I just cut out the images that I wanted to use, so all the other noise on the page was gone. And that's one theme we'll see throughout this page. I like to narrow things down. The less things I'm having to look at and go from, the less overwhelmed I get, and the more freeing it is to kind of create for me, if that makes sense. Because sometimes it can be overwhelming when you haven't done a page in a little while, or you're kind of creatively stuck and you're looking at all these different sources of materials and you're looking at all these things and you get, at least I do, I get kind of overwhelmed and I'm not sure where to start. So I wanted to share that with y'all. And now I'm just going around. I have a few more like white spaces to fill and I'm trying to figure out if anything else needs to go on this page. Now, this little image you see me with there, I wasn't sure where it was going to go, but I really want it to go on this page. It's like a tree that's had like initials and stuff carved in it. I don't know if it was a movie still or what, but I really liked it because it showed some history. And then I decided to throw a curveball and throw some more green in there. So I found this really cool image. I don't know if it's like a monument. It's probably somewhere famous, but you all see it on the left side there. And that struck me as really the anchor of our story that's going to develop from here. So now that we have the background finished, I like to add my cast of characters. So again, I have just laid them all around the journal there and I'm kind of looking and I've gone ahead and I've cut away everything on the page that I'm not going to use so that I'm just looking at these images. And some of these I've found recently, some of these I've had forever. I know the girl in the white coat is from a fashion ad, I think, and it was funny because on the page I was originally going to use one of the other girls on the page, but then I saw her and I thought, we're using her. Then we have a hair ad, and then up top I don't know if this is from an ad or what. The girl really looks like Kirsten Dunst, so it may be her. I'm just not sure. I don't remember. I know I used part of that ad for another page, but I don't know, which is very weird for me because I usually remember pages right off, but my brain is just, we're hanging in there here lately. Also, I found these really cool images of these girls that are styled as angels. This one is from a bridal magazine, I believe. And she's there in the wedding dress with the angel wings. And I put her next to the picture of the kind of castle monument. Maybe that's Machu Picchu. I don't know, y'all. I'm very ignorant of geography, so forgive me. I just love the colors of it, and it gives this kingdom fantasy old world feel, but with modern photography, so I really dug it. And just having the girls dressed as angels kind of around the city there, I thought started bringing this great story together. And then we have the eye up top, and they're kind of overlooking the city. And I just thought that went together really interesting, and I was digging it. You can do a lot. That's another thing I'll say. Like, if you're ever lost on a page or you're trying to find images, try like cutting things out, like just using an eye or using a mouth. Oh, and we'll take a closer look at how I place those. Sometimes you can get so many images just out of that, and it gives it a different feel than using a whole face sometimes. And now I picked out some words from my word stash, and I'm starting to set them all around my journal here so that I'm able to, at a glance, see what I have and kind of narrow it down. And that way I'm only looking at these few words, and I'm able to say, this is what I have. Now, what's the story from these? And at the top, I started with the rising. And then at the left, under the eye, we're going to do Brave New World. And next, over top of the image of the place there, it says What Remains. We have the angel, which that's from a bourbon ad, funny enough. And then toward the bottom of the left page, it says We've Come This Far by Faith. And that'll finish up the left page there. And then toward the right, up top, it's going to say, Why do you go away? So that you can come back, so that you can see the place you come from with new eyes and extra colors. Okay, and then the next, it says, as a kid, it was powerful to be able to see this city and visualize the possibilities it might hold. It didn't cost us anything to dream. Dreams were free. They were a commodity that we could just take in unapologetically. I love that. And then I put a shot of redemption toward the left there, and then under that, revisited. And then I found shelter, which I thought was just, it went really well with that place. So we're going to put shelter toward the bottom there. And I felt like I need to add a little more. So I was kind of trying out, I wanted something to go with shelter. And I settled on keeping. So it says keeping shelter. And so the story's kind of developing for me. And I'm not sure exactly what the narrative is yet, but I feel this girl on the right, in my head, these three images are almost her at different types of life, or different times of life. And then on the left, this is perhaps the city that she left at one time, and she'll be returning. And something went down there for sure. And when she returns, it's not going to be the same as when she came back. And these angels have been there the whole time, kind of waiting for her to return, maybe? I don't know. Tell me what y'all think. And now I wanted to add some, y'all know I like my doodles and my details. And I wasn't sure what direction to go. So again, I'm using this technique of where I cut down on the amount of things that I'm going to source from. So I decided we're just doing markers and pens. Don't worry about no paints. Don't worry about no art crayons. Don't worry about no stamps or stencils or anything. Just get some markers and paints out and start doodling and see where it takes you. And only source from those. Cut out all the other noise. So I start with a border that I made out of Sharpie. And now I'm going around and outlining some of the words that I want to really pop out. So I outlined the Keeping Shelter with the Sharpie and the Brave New World. And now I have a silver marker that I'm outlining We've Come This Far by Faith and the Rising. And now I'm taking a gel pen, and this is the one I talked about in a previous video that's actually from the Dollar Tree. It's like Pro Marks or something. Writes really well, lays down the ink like nothing else, but if you are left-handed, be very careful. This pen takes forever to dry. Like when I say it lays down the ink, like I ain't messing around. And then I'm taking a white gel pen, which I think this is a Signo. I forget the full name of it. And I'm going around and just adding some details with that, and some on top of the Sharpie, and then some around the words as well. And now I'm going around and just adding some like lines, some little arrows, nothing elaborate, but something just to bring, how would you say, some different shapes in there, but also make it like a contrast to that really nice photography, if that makes sense. Like some little organic doodles. I don't know how to say that, but just something to contrast on top of all that prettiness. And then I started to outline the angel girl in the wedding dress there. And I accidentally, like I said, this pen does not dry fast, smudged it with my hand, and I loved it because that black ink really grunged up her white dress. So leave it to me to grunge up the dress, right? But it really made it look more like battle worn and that some time had gone by. Then I decided, well, shoot, I'm going to go around and smudge some of this ink up some other places, right? And I thought that made so much. I just love that so much because her dress was just so stark white. And then now I'm going to go around with the Sharpie and outline the young girl, the girl when she's younger. Maybe that's when she left originally, y'all. And then just go around and add a few more shapes. Like I said, I'm just kind of feeling it out because I had no direction where I wanted to go. And I decided, let's pick one material and let's only use that material and see what happens. That way I'm not overwhelmed. That way I get all that clutter out of my mind and I'm just thinking, I got these things to work with. Let's see what we can do. Oh, and there's Ollie. Hello, Ollie. He was just trying to put his paw print on it. I mean, bless his heart. And let's take a look at the finished page after I finished all my doodling and marking and smearing. And I love how it turned out. Like I said, I have a few storylines in my head, but definitely I love the visual story there. And what do y'all think? I'm always curious. But thank y'all so much. I hope you had a fabulous start to 2021. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to see y'all in the next video with some more art. Well, thank you so much. Y'all have a good one. Bye.